Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde are speaking out after their former nanny gave a tell-all interview to a tabloid. The unnamed nanny told the Daily Mail Jason was blindsided by Olivia's decision to leave, which happened shortly after she began filming Don't Worry, Darling in November 2020. Now, at one point, here's the big drama, she said Jason laid under Olivia's car to prevent her from seeing Harry Styles. The nanny also said she was fired by Jason when he was, quote, drunk and out of control. Now, in a very rare joint statement from these two, Olivia and Jason called these claims false and said the nanny has been harassing them for months. Who do we believe?
I'm going to go with this. If you are going to come out and speak against someone else, you need to say that with your whole chest, your whole face, and your whole name. So there should not be an unnamed nanny, especially for someone who is an employee at will in the most intimate parts of someone's household and families. I am not okay with this. I'm inclined not to believe the information because when people are telling the truth, they say it with their whole name, their whole face, and their whole chest.
Ooh, I like
but
that.
I mean, it's hard, Erica, because we're in a day and age where a lot of people have not only one main job, but many side jobs, and parents do need help with nannies, or you're going to have somebody in your home around your life. And how do you vet that? How do you make sure, you can read people and people are friendly enough, but how do you make sure that this person isn't just going to slander you when you leave, especially when you have a name like
That's a non-disclosure agreement.
But Stormy Daniels had an NDA. Like, people break them because the financial incentive is more than it costs to break the NDA, which is terrible in itself. It should be like criminal. But I feel like there's no way to protect yourself because you guys are known in the industry. If somebody says something about you, you are now faced with the idea of Jeff or Erica, if you respond online, it goes up in the algorithm, so now it gives it credence. And if you say nothing, why isn't Erica saying anything? Why didn't Jeff say anything? Tori, it must be true. So it's a weird place to be in.
Well, the funniest part of this story is that Jason Sudeikis apparently laid under the car because Olivia made a special salad that he really liked, and she was bringing that to Harry Styles.
That's a rough one.
Okay, so now I'm leaning towards Olivia and Jason rather than a disgruntled employee. I'm doing great today. Because I'm going to tell you why. Because she got fired apparently by a drunken Jason Sudeikis, and then the Daily Mail approaches her and be like, hey, you got anything to say?
Right.
Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit more. This story sounds a little bit too outrageous to believe, and they both came forward and said, this is not true. Both of them. If Olivia's like, oh, there's some truth to that, okay, but if both of them come forward and say, this whole salad thing and lay in front of a car, that's a little crazy.
I agree with Jeff. The idea that both of them, and they're not speaking at all, came together, to me means there was some unfactual things happening here.
I mean, but there was, didn't she have something delivered to her during a speech by her husband?
Divorce or serving papers.
So like they have shown that they're willing to humiliate each other in public, in the most public. And I mean, there is some smoke, as you always say, Erica, with this fire, because she's with Harry Styles. So like something unscrupulous happened in between that. I don't know about the salad and the laying down in front of the car, but it doesn't seem like it was mutual, the breakup, and it seems like there's a lot of sadness here.
Well, of course there's sadness, because anytime you have a divorce or a separation, it's like a death in the family, regardless of how much you might need to move on from that situation. But at the same time, it's like if they want to act a certain way, which I think also opens the door for other people to jump in to say, oh yeah, and I also know this and I know that. But that's also their right to act a certain way because it was their relationship. Don't come in from the outside trying to add your 2 cents to absolutely anything. I hope this person who was the former nanny doesn't want a nanny again, because who's going to allow this person into their home in this way? You got to think it's like short game, long game here.
Yeah.
I hope they get to the bottom of the recipe of that salad. That's what I want.
What's in that salad?
Because it's causing a lot of drama.
Seriously. All right, this was a really touching moment. It's the end of the road for Selma Blair on Dancing with the Stars, who decided herself, just so you guys know, to drop out of the show. She wasn't voted out. Selma gave an emotional last dance with her partner, Sasha Faber, and brought the audience and her fellow castmates to tears. Selma, who has MS, said she decided to leave on the advice of her doctors. Let's take a listen.
I can't go on with the competition. Pushed as far as I could.
I'm so sorry, Selma.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sash. With a chronic illness, you do have special considerations, and My body is definitely taking a hit. It's way too much for the safety of my bones. There's just intensive bone trauma and inflammation among rips and tears, so I could do extensive damage that of course, I do not want.
I have to say, just like Michael J. Fox became the face of Parkinson's, she has become the face of MS and of visibility and what you can do. And I am blown away by her power. I really am. I didn't expect this. I didn't.
I think that might be selling it short, Tori. She is the face of being a straight up boss. I mean, I looked at this competition. I have a friend that lost a parent from MS, and I know what that disease does and how cruel it is. And when I saw that she was dancing, I didn't think it was a good idea. And I was hoping she would do one or two dances and bow out gracefully. When she broke out that blindfold, like, I was just a mess. You know, I'm a little emotional. I can't believe she did this. I can't believe she did this.
How brave do you have to be?
I cannot believe a human being did this. I am in awe of her as a human being. I don't think people understand like how that body takes away parts of your body, and to have that, she's comforting her dance instructor. Like, they don't make them like that no more.
No. What do you guys think, Jeff?
What if she's like, I can't continue because your shirt is horrendous.
Thank you, Jeff.
I want to throw a little levity in there. But yeah, you could just tell by, Al, what you were saying and what you were saying, just by her cast members' reaction, right? They know how hard this is being in perfect health, let alone having MS. And she's an inspiration, right? People who have this disease now could look to her and say, I could do anything.
Exactly.
I could do anything. So yeah, she really made an impact, and I think brought a lot of eyeballs to this season.
I think so too. What a spark of hope. All right, I want to get you guys to know about what's going on tomorrow. We will be chatting with another dancer, Derek Huff.
That's a jacket.
I know. He dresses well
that's a jacket.
from Dancing with the Stars, and get his take, of course, on Selma's departure as well. We are wishing Selma, of course, the best. All right, Drew Barrymore revealed she's not having sex. I was trying to make a good transition.
That was good.
She hasn't
by
had
screaming?
Sex. In 6 years, she hasn't had sex. So in a blog post on her website, Drew confessed that she hasn't had sex since her marriage ended. Instead, she's been focusing on being a single mom to her 2 daughters. She also refuted claims she hates sex and said she just came to the realization that love and sex are not the same thing. And when you are selective, you look at sex as an expression of love and not love itself.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Well, it's true. Love and sex aren't the same thing. Sometimes that works really well for people, and sometimes it does not.
Right.
So for her to be just honest about, this is the part of herself that she's focusing on as a single mom to 2 girls, it's just honest. I do think that it's risky because I am a believer that if you don't use it, you lose it.
Absolutely.
But I think to each their own. But I would like to say that if you are thinking on the bad side of conflating love and sex, there's also a positive side to conflating love and sex, because that can lead you to the path of greater intimacy. So I think whatever is more comfortable for you, but I don't see a problem with it.
You don't see it for 6 years.
Well,
that's a presidential term and a half. You don't see a problem with that. Copy.
Al, talk to us.
Would I choose that path? No.
Okay.
But I'm not in that situation. And also, Drew's had a variety of different types of partners.
Right.
And so she probably kind of feels like she's seen it all. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said. I think, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I think that there's a way that you can kind of emotionally shut down that part of your personality, and your sexuality is part of that. And I get worried, kind of, not that she's incredibly accomplished, but like when we start talking about somebody's sexuality as like the lead thing with what they're talking about, like with Colton from The Bachelor, when it was like he was a virgin. It's like, that's the first thing I need to know about you. When it becomes the thing that people know about you, I think that's when it's a problem, Jeff. If you're just like, hey, I'm taking a year sabbatical, fine. But that wouldn't be the lead bullet point on your card. And I think when it's like, if you are so-and-so the virgin that gets booked on shows because you are this person, I feel like now that's your thing.
It becomes your identity.
Right. I think it's a problem.
And you brought up something earlier, too. Imagine being that guy, right?
Right.
That has to fill those shoes. You'd have sex in 6 or 7 years. Like
Drew Barrymore?
I need to do some push-ups or something? Get ready for this? Like, what's happening? Like, that's a lot of pressure for that guy.
And how quickly can 6 turn to 10?
I agree with you.
And now it's a thing.
Of course, she's allowed to do what she wants, and I appreciate her honesty. Sex is very important for mind, body, and soul and spirit. And in America, we make it taboo and we make it all, oh, no, no, no. I just want to say being open to being sex positive, I think, is very important, and being safe, of course. But I just think sex is very important to continue doing.
Continue doing. Some might say it's how the world continues to grow. You know,
I'm just gonna let you finish that because I was so curious. Sex is very important.
I just wanted to bring that up. All right, very big change of gears here. Have you ever felt that your dog is judging you? Chances are you could be right. Case in point, check out these dogs giving their owners side-eye sent in by our staff.
That's awesome.
Now, a new study out of Japan found that dogs do judge us when we make mistakes, but only if they're female. The female pooches can sniff out a competent person from someone who just doesn't have their stuff together.
Interesting.
I feel seen and attacked.
Have you guys ever come home after a few drinks? I don't drink anymore, but and you know your dog's treating you differently. Like, oh, your dog knows that you're feeling no pain.
Yeah. Barnaby hides under the bed. Yeah. What? Because if I come in and I'm like, woo! And I'm dancing, he's like, oh, gee. And then I feel judged.
I was listening to this comedian the other day, and because we always talk about dogs on this show, and I don't have a dog, and my kids want a dog, and they're like, you're such a jerk. Why don't you have a dog? And he said the same thing. He goes, I just don't want a dog. He goes, I'm not a jerk. And he goes, but people say it's so, you have unconditional love, and they always love you. He goes, oh, yeah? Open the door. That's what he said. And I was like dying, like driving home. Like, it's so true. If you let them go, they're gone.
They're out of there. That's what you say. They go to wherever the food is.
Yeah, I mean, we're not hating on dogs, but I'm just saying they are perceptive. And I definitely know that my dog has looked back at me, like, especially when we do the late night walk after the club.
Yeah,
and they're like, yeah, we're a little stumbly here, buddy. So.
Well, Spike is a male dog, but he is super perceptive. Now, this particular one, you can't really tell, but he got one of those spurs in his fur.
Oh, yeah.
And so Anthony tried to cut it out, and he looked like it was like the Larry David cut. It was just, he was very upset. Yeah. He was very upset. But Spike, they keep telling us, can't see or hear, but he always sees and hears when those our suitcases come out. He sees and hears that, and then he retaliates against us.
By peeing.
Yes, which he doesn't do normally.
No, he's angry.
It's a spiteful, you know what? Yeah.
Spike is spiteful. That's right.